shouldn't be as bad as the east. I've been very thankful. My mate has lent me his boat for the day, so we're going to go out. We've got the rods and the spear guns, and we're going to try and catch some good fish and do some nice diving as well. There's some lovely cliffs out here. It's pretty amazing scenery really, so I'm super excited to show Dave and Jake what it's all about. And if we can get into some fish and some nice diving, it'll be even better. And with that, we headed out to the first fishing spot, some nice pinnacles, in the search of hopefully some bait fish. We're going to go for mackerel first, and then once we've got some bait and some mackerel for the boys to take home, we're going to go after something bigger. Fair to say, it did not take long for those hooks to get bitten and the rods to bend over, and the mackerel were on. Much to Jake's surprise, these are proper Shetland mackerel. A Shetland mackerel! Woo!
That, literally, that is the biggest mackerel I've ever caught, and I've fished for a long time. That is a proper Shetland mackerel. We're all getting a feed tonight, boys.
There's plenty more where that came from, and the boys just keep reeling them in. These mackerel are huge and they're absolutely stunning. The colours are just popping and it looks incredible in this nice clear water. And it doesn't take long before Dave is just reeling them in, while I'm prepping them ready for the table or ready for the boys to freeze. The nice big ones that we're going to eat, I'm just ripping their gills out, and as you can see all the blood will come out, and this means it's going to come out the meat, so more just meat instead of the blood contaminating the meat. You do this with a big pelagic fish and it definitely makes a difference when you eat mackerel. We're going to try and sashimi these later, so we want it as good as we can get it, and these are going to be pretty good. Fair to say, the boys are having a lot of fun and there's some big smiles on the boat. With a fair few mackerel on the boat and a few lost hats retrieved, it was time to go to some other spots and see if we can chase some other fish. Now we're after ling, cod, pollock, kind of whatever we can get our hands on, but the weather is hammering us. It has not stopped raining and we're really struggling to hide from the wind. So we're only limited in the spots we can go to, but it's still absolutely stunning where we are. We have a few nibbles, we catch some smaller fish, but eventually I get a bit bored with a rod and line and I make the decision to get the wetsuit on and take the plunge. I can definitely say this is not my favourite part. Despite putting warm water in the wetsuit, it's still pretty cold and it can be pretty miserable putting it on. But once it's on, it's time to go. And just as it's time to go, the weather just turns and it goes completely still. No rain and the wind drops off completely. So we get the boat in a pretty awesome spot and we get it anchored. With the usual checks done, the anchor is secure, it's time to get the gun and start hunting. First dive, I descend down into the kelp and I get myself tucked right in. Now straight away there's some fish movement and I line up on this guy coming in. This time I'm shooting for food and for the boys to take home. So if it's not a monster, it's not a monster. But I obviously get my range wrong on the first one and it's a miss. But once that, I get my eye in. little bit of taunting of the fish I just shot and what's down there. It did not take long before these boys were in the water and starting to get diving. They were over the moon of how beautiful and how clear the water is up here. This is the first time they're jumping into this big open water, so I'm super proud of them, and it's just awesome to spend a nice amount of time in the water practicing and getting the hunt on. It's not long before the guys are doing some warm-up dives and getting better and better at diving in this water, and it's not long before they're getting right down into that kelp and hunting for fish. Unfortunately for Jake, he does an absolute stonker of an effort of a dive, and those big fish are just sitting too far in the distance and they're not wanting to come any closer. But it's awesome seeing Jake down there hunting away and doing what he loves. Again, I'm getting down and I'm getting right into the kelp. I only level out as soon as I get to the tips of the kelp, and eventually a few fish start moving in. Now I have a look about before I see this fish, or to see if there's any bigger ones cruising about, and then with nothing else I decide to take the shot. Slightly too late, as it's not the best shot and it's through the side, but that's another fish for the table, or for Jake and Dave take home. When the spearfishing starts to dry up, there's usually only one thing for it, and that is to go for a proper explore. Now there's some stunning archways around here. We're diving out the back of Vela, which is a beautiful island, and I've never really done much diving around these arches, so there's only one thing for it, that's to get right stuck into it. And I don't think Jake and Dave have ever seen anything like this, so to see them in the water having fun is well worth the journey up here, I reckon. I'm never coming down, never coming. Jake, being the bit of adrenaline junkie that he is, he can't help himself but climb up to the cliff and want to jump. But I said, I'll go check how deep it is so you don't break your legs. Eventually, a couple of minutes later, I found out that it's 19 meters deep, so I think he's got plenty of depth to be jumping in, and that did not take him long to just set free. Cause I always liked you. I wanna share this view. I wanna share this view with you. We're never coming down, never coming down, never coming down again. This is definitely what it's all about. Spending some great times with great mates in some pretty crazy locations, and you can't be anywhere as remote as this. This is one thing I love about the Shetland Islands, is their rugged coastline, and it's just endless to explore. So my next port of call is taking Jake and Dave into the caves. Now these are like your own private blue lagoons, and they make every second count exploring them and having a good old hunt about. I'll never be this young, I'll never be this young again. Don't wanna waste life, I'll never be this dumb, I'll never be this dumb again. We're all idiots, everyone, we're all idiots, everyone, but we sure know how to have some fun. Oh, we're all idiots, everyone, we're all idiots, everyone, but we sure know how to have some just like that, the day was coming to an end. We were getting pretty tired and a little bit cold because we've been in the water a fair while. So I get back on the boat. Eventually I drag those two out. We have one last fish and we make our way back in. So it's getting a bit late now. We've just done one more drift fishing. We didn't come up with anything, so we're gonna head back ashore. But I think we've had a great day. You two have enjoyed yourself a lot.
It's pretty good. Some fish.
Shot some fish.
Some nice clear water as well.
Yeah, really clear water and some pretty big mackerel. So we're gonna head in and get these suits off because we've been cooking a while. I hope you enjoyed this episode, guys. We really enjoyed getting out there, and I think I've shown Jake and Dave why I love Shetland and what it's all about. But don't go anywhere because the next episode is going to be out shortly and it's a whopper. We have an amazing day out on a traditional Shetland fishing boat. And I'm absolutely loving having Jake up here. It's about time we got together and had some fun like this. So go check him out on Instagram at Wescapades. He gets up to some pretty cool stuff and he definitely knows his stuff about hunting.